Breaking news out of the NFL. Tonight, football fans everywhere are buzzing. But this isn't just any ordinary kickoff, it's the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys under the bright lights. A true clash of giants to open the season. And while everyone's watching this showdown, the Tennessee Titans are sitting back, waiting to unleash their brand new era with Cam Ward just days away. What does this mean for the Titans' future? And why is ESPN already stirring controversy with their latest predictions? Stay tuned, because we're breaking it all down. Welcome in, Titans fans. The NFL season has officially kicked off, but let's be real, all eyes in Tennessee are locked on one thing: the Cam Ward era is almost here. Just 3 days away until the Titans' new quarterback takes the field for the very first time. Now here's where things get interesting. ESPN dropped some bold predictions for the Titans, and let me tell you, some of them are raising eyebrows. According to their analytics, the Titans only have a 15.6% chance of making the playoffs. Really? In an AFC South division where the Colts are still figuring things out, the Jaguars are inconsistent, and the Texans are still building? I'd give Tennessee a better shot than that. Projected wins. ESPN says 6.7. I've got them closer to 7, maybe even more, depending on how quickly Cam Ward adjusts. And get this, ESPN ranked the Titans roster 31st in the NFL. That's second to last. Behind teams like the Panthers, Browns, and Jets. I don't buy it. Not after all the work Mike Borgonzi put into rebuilding this roster. The offensive line is stronger, the linebacker group got reinforcements with Cody Barton, and the secondary looks sharper than it has in years. To me, this isn't a bottom 2 roster. Not even close. Put them in the 20s, at least. But before we dive deeper into the latest Titans news and predictions, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you never miss breaking updates on your Titans. Alright, let's move on to what's next. Now, let's talk about what ESPN believes is the Titans' biggest strength heading into this season: the offensive line. We all remember how rough that unit was last year. Protection broke down, quarterbacks like Will Levis and Mason Rudolph struggled, and the offense never found its rhythm. But this offseason, huge changes. Tennessee poured resources into fixing that weakness, and the transformation is obvious. Dan Moore Jr. was brought in with a major investment, Peter Skoronski is back anchoring the left side, and Lloyd Cushenberry steps in as a reliable presence at center. Add in veteran Kevin Zeitler to bring leadership and toughness, and suddenly this line looks far more capable. J.C. Latham also shifts back to his natural right tackle spot, which should stabilize things even more. Even ESPN's own reporter, Turin Davenport, pointed out how much effort Mike Borgonzi put into building the trenches. His philosophy is clear: if you're handing the offense over to a rookie quarterback like Cam Ward, you better make sure he's protected. And Tennessee's front office delivered on that. Now, is the offensive line the biggest strength on this team? Maybe not. But compared to last year, the jump in talent and depth is undeniable. For the first time in a long while, Titans fans can expect their quarterback to actually have time to work, and that could change everything for this offense. Now, ESPN can talk up the offensive line all they want, but let's be real, the true powerhouse of this Titans roster is Jeffrey Simmons. No debate. No hesitation. He is the heart and soul of this team. Simmons isn't just good, he's dominant. Last season alone, he racked up 76 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and 5 sacks. For a defensive tackle, those numbers are elite. Add in an 80 PFF grade, and it's clear why he's recognized as one of the NFL's premier defenders. But here's what really stands out this year: Simmons showed up to camp in the best shape of his career, dropping nearly 20 pounds. He looks quicker, more explosive, and ready to wreak havoc on every offensive line he faces. When a player who's already elite takes his conditioning to another level, that's a nightmare for opponents. Pair that with Cam Ward energizing the offense, and you've got a rising star on one side of the ball feeding off an established superstar on the other. Simmons sets the tone, elevates his teammates, and forces everyone else to raise their game. So, when ESPN calls the offensive line Tennessee's biggest strength, I can't agree. The offensive line is improved, no doubt. But Jeffrey Simmons is the engine of this team, the one player you can always count on to deliver at an all-pro level. That's the real strength of the Titans. Now, let's shift the focus to head coach Brian Callahan, because this is where things get really interesting. When Tennessee hired him away from Cincinnati, expectations were sky-high. He had worked with Joe Burrow, helped guide the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance, and built a reputation as one of the brightest offensive minds in the league. But last season, the results didn't match the hype. The offense looked inconsistent, the play calling shaky, and questions started to swirl about whether he was the right man for the job. Make no mistake, Callahan is on the hot seat. The front office gave serious thought to cutting ties this offseason. They ultimately chose patience, deciding to give him one more year, but that leash is very, very short. And here's the reality, with a favorable schedule to open the season, there's no excuse for a slow start. If Tennessee stumbles out of the gate, say, 2 wins in the first 7 games or worse, Callahan's seat could go from hot to flaming. Mike Borgonzi didn't hire him, which means the general manager has every reason to bring in his own guy if things collapse early. This season isn't just about developing Cam Ward. It's also about Callahan proving he can scheme, adjust, and outsmart opposing coaches at the highest level. If he can't, the Titans won't hesitate to make a change. This feels like a make-or-break year for him, one wrong step, and it could be his last in Tennessee. At the end of the day, everything for the Titans this season comes down to one name, Cam Ward. ESPN's Matt Bowen summed it up best: Ward has the arm talent to make every throw, plus the mobility and creativity to extend plays outside of structure. That kind of skill set is exactly what this offense needs after years of inconsistency under center. The Titans didn't just stop at drafting Ward. They surrounded him with weapons to help him succeed right away. Calvin Ridley gives him a proven top target on the outside, while tight end Chig Okonkwo is dangerous after the catch and can turn short passes into big gains. And then there's the addition of veteran wideout Tyler Lockett, a steady, reliable presence who brings leadership and a knack for making clutch plays. For a rookie quarterback stepping into the spotlight, this is the kind of support system that can make all the difference. Ward doesn't have to do it all himself, but if he can tap into his natural playmaking ability while trusting the talent around him, the Titans' offense could surprise a lot of people this year. Here's the truth: in today's NFL, a quarterback can flip a franchise almost overnight. We've seen it with guys like C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels, one season, one breakout performance, and suddenly a team goes from worst to first. For the Titans, that possibility lives and dies with Cam Ward. If he can protect the football, limit turnovers, and consistently connect with Calvin Ridley, this offense has a chance to surprise people. But that success will hinge on one thing: the offensive line. ESPN's bold prediction. They claim Cam Ward's sack rate will be under 5%. At first glance, that sounds almost unrealistic. Last year, Tennessee's sack rate sat at 6.3%, one of the worst in the league. And historically, it's been rare for this franchise to dip below 5%. You'd have to go all the way back to 2020 for the last time it happened, and before that, all the way to 2011. Now, I do like what Mike Borgonzi has done with the line. Dan Moore adds toughness, J.C. Latham is back in his natural spot, and the interior looks sturdier with veterans like Lloyd Cushenberry and Kevin Zeitler. But can one off-season overhaul really deliver a sack rate under 5%? That's a massive leap. Cam Ward showed in college that he's good at avoiding sacks, using his mobility to extend plays. But the NFL is a different beast. Defensive speed, complex schemes, and relentless pass rushers won't make it easy. If the line holds up, Ward has a shot to thrive. If not, it could be a long season. So here's the question: how confident are you in this offensive line? Scale of 1 to 10, is this finally a unit we can trust, or are we bracing for another year of frustration up front?